Now, it turns out if you, like me, are very intrigued about the place, you are not alone, because the country has been attracting more tourists and has ambitious plans to increase their capacity as well in the hospitality sector. There's been a new report from real estate and advisory firm Cavendish Maxwell that says new hotel rooms in Oman are set to expand by more than 25% by 2030. That's 9,600 additional rooms in addition to the existing 36,000 over the next 5 years. And not just that, we're also seeing 3 to 5-star hotels seeing a 18% rise in revenues year on year in this most recent report. But what does this mean for employment and business opportunities, for tourism as well? Let's find out more now, because we are joined in studio by Zacky Sajjad, who is director at Cavendish Maxwell. Zacky, thanks for coming into the studio today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm going to start with asking you about your favorite place in Oman as we're talking about it.
My favorite place in Oman would have to be Turtle Beach Resort in Ras Al Had. It's a very beautiful place to go in the summer. It's about 10 degrees cooler than Dubai, the UAE. And you can see that's where the turtles are all having their sort of nesting period and laying all their eggs. It's very, very beautiful.
Yeah, that sounds magical.
Probably about a 9-hour drive, but you could fly to Muscat and half that drive if you wanted.
That's not one that I've done so far, so you've given me another one to add to my list. But let's talk about this report now, because 9,600 new hotel rooms by 2030. How significant is this in the picture of Oman's hospitality sector when we talk about this growth for capacity?
Yeah, look, I think it's very, very significant. Oman, there's no secret, it's been a challenge post-COVID, to get back to the sort of recovery and the numbers that they were seeing in 2019. They're well on track now with that. The last couple of years have seen, sort of passenger numbers getting closer to where they were at in 2019. Obviously, the majority of passengers fly into Muscat, being the capital and the kind of hub, if you like. But yeah, I think there's numerous initiatives, obviously being led by the government and various ministries. For example, the Ministry of Housing and Urban Planning are really putting a lot of emphasis into ITCs, which is kind of essentially the freehold areas, the residential areas that foreigners can now buy real estate in.
Yeah, and staying on tourism, and I do want to come to the residential real estate sector as well, hotel occupancy has also been rising, according to your report. Tell us about this, and if those current occupancy rates indicate that there is a need for more supply.
Yeah, look, I think obviously occupancy rates in Oman are sort of, if we look at it year on year right now, they've gone up about 15%. We're still sort of, getting towards 60% occupancy rates on their hotels. So one, could argue that, okay, at 60%, why are they building more? The answer to that is where there is high demand in certainly the kind of the more resort-based facilities, some of the business hotels and some of the newer business districts that are evolving, especially in Muscat. There is a lack of quality supply, so that's why there's more stock coming to market. I think in the past people have just sort of built things without putting much thought into it, and that's where we come in as Cavendish Maxwell. We help clients identify where the gaps are and build the right sort of supply moving forward.
Well, you mentioned an increase in occupancy rates, about 15% from this report that you've got. So what is driving this rise in tourism and business travel potentially as well?
Yeah, both in short. Obviously, I think, as you alluded to earlier, Oman is a very beautiful part of this region. If you look at the GCC in general, there's some real natural beauty in terms of the mountain meeting the ocean and everything that comes with that. And also, as you go further south, when you get to Salalah, the temperatures are significantly cooler. That summer Kharif season where they get the rains and it turns into this green, sort of turquoise paradise down in Salalah. So that all obviously plays in. Interestingly, what the data is showing that the tourism sector in Oman, the backbone of that is Omani nationals itself. So if we look at the sort of nationality of the hotel occupiers, I would say just over a third are Omani nationals, with just under a third Europeans, and then about 15% the rest of the GCC, and the balance being others. So they are the backbone of the industry. So we've coined the term staycation here in the UAE. Omani's been doing this for many, for a long time, basically, right, because it's such a big country. We forget the geographical size of Oman. So if you're trying to get from Muscat to Salalah, that could be a 9-10 hour drive.
Another thing that has come up recently that could be supporting this is the GCC Unified Tourist Visa. How much does that have the potential to play a role in their tourism ambitions?
Yes, absolutely. I think, if we look at, say, Europe as an example, or London, my sort of capital city, if you like, there are so many people that commute in daily to London. I've heard figures of a city of roughly 8 million, but could be 20 million on any given day in the city. And I think as you see places like Dubai and Abu Dhabi now becoming busier and busier, the roads, as a testament to today, from Sheikh Zayed Road to here took me an hour, and that was at 10 o'clock. So you will start to see that the commuter belt widen. And if you look, I know people that are living in Spain commuting into London, a couple of times a week,
Wow.
with the flights the connecting flights that they can take. So
Right.
I'm sure you're going to see things of this nature in the future regionally. So these kind of, visas are important for that.
And another topic that you mentioned earlier, but also is in your report, focuses on residential real estate inventory. What are we seeing in this area?
Look, I think, by all means, Dubai certainly led the way in terms of, foreign nationals buying real estate. But, Oman, what they've done is they've created specific zones, ITC zones, and in those zones, foreign nationals can buy, and now you can get a 99-year visa when you buy certain properties within these zones. So if we look at what's happening within some of these areas, and obviously naturally they are focused around sort of tourist and hospitality hotspots, if you like. So that is encouraging, more people, more foreign nationals to enter into the market, take some real estate there. And interestingly enough, we've seen yields performing quite strongly. Residential yields.
Can you give me a number
within these? Look, it's on a par with what you see here in Dubai.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So, but obviously the investment, the ticket size is much lower. So, obviously it really depends on the location and where exactly you're going. But I think things are looking promising for Oman.
If somebody listening to this is suddenly intrigued and wants to invest in real estate in Oman, what are some things to think about perhaps that might be different from how things are operating here? Any different considerations that they need to have?
Yeah, first and foremost, any real estate investment should always be a long-term investment in my mind. It's real estate is a illiquid asset, so you have to be thinking of it from a long-term perspective. In terms of what I would suggest is speak to experts, whether it's Cavendish Maxwell, ourselves, or somebody else. Speak to somebody, with local knowledge that can direct you and show you where sort of future supply is coming, where would be interesting areas to invest in or to locate yourself in, and obviously do your research.
And just a final one for you, Zacky, is when we think about the real estate boom that we've had here in the UAE, that goes hand in hand with the population boom that we've seen. I know you've been looking at population growth figures as well for Oman. What have you seen there?
Yeah, population is growing, obviously not at the level of the UAE, but it is growing, it is positive, and I think we're going to see some significant growth. Interesting what we've seen with our data, if we kind of slice and dice it a bit more, we're seeing, so traditionally, take the last 5 to 10 years, it was more, I would say, single males in the population growth. Now we're seeing a lot more, dependents coming in with those single males. So the population growth is pointing towards, therefore, need for more education, more healthcare, and all these sort of support, the sort of support functions, if you like, of the operational real estate. Yeah,
it sounds like a lot of employment and business opportunities there as well, leading into what we've been talking about with both the growth of tourism and this real estate sector.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Zacky, for coming into the show today. Appreciate your insights on this.
Thank you for having me.
That's the voice there of Zacky Sajjad, who is director at Cavendish Maxwell, walking us through their recent report on Oman.